Hi Astro people, thanks for joining me. It's Wednesday, the 19th of February 2020. The moon is in Capricorn today, stays there right through until tomorrow, and the moon will enter Aquarius 11:42 a.m. Pacific, 2:42 p.m. in the afternoon Eastern, 7:42 in the evening here in UK, and then we will see some changes and things becoming a bit less strict, a bit less formal and exacting. But the moon is in Capricorn at the moment. That's the prevailing influence, so there really is strictness in the air. You know, it's not a great time to expect other people to kind of change a lot or give in over something that's really important. It is a good time where you've got to be self-disciplined. Anything you've got to really have discipline with and take responsibility for. It's a great time to do that, and it's good to have that grounding influence, of course, because Mercury is still retrograde. The Sun is sextile Mars. That also favours assertiveness, breaking any kind of new ground, starting first time events, things like that. If you set something up and it's going to be the first one today, that is really a positive indication there. The moon is sextile Mercury herself. Now, Mercury being retrograde, it's difficult to call, but generally speaking, this should be a good time to express your feelings, express emotions, things like that. Now then, there is actually going to be a Jupiter Sextile Neptune alignment today. We're building up to it really because it's tomorrow morning that it actually really takes effect. But we're coming towards it. It's an applying aspect, and that's what's going to matter at the moment. We're really getting into that on an emotional kind of level today. People are looking for inspiration, and imagination is really trying to take over. Struggling to do that because of the Capricorn Moon, of course. But it's an idealistic time. People with humanitarian ideas are wanting to get things going and get things started. That kind of thing is on the surface, and it's also a time of broadening the mind, which is more of a Sagittarian thing really, and maybe a Pisces thing as well, maybe a Gemini thing, thinking about it. But you know, the moon is in Capricorn, so it's keeping it firmly grounded down. Thinking about new possibilities though, it's a real open-hearted time, and some people show their generosity. There is quite a lot of compassion in the air, so that's pretty well positive thing. We're looking for things to be we're looking for things to believe in. That's a very important part of human nature there, and some people are willing to make sacrifices. Some aren't, because we're hanging on to that Capricorn thing. It just depends who you are and who you're dealing with. But there we go. Let's have a quick rundown of things. So moon sextile Mercury, sun sextile Mars, and sextiles are actually a very positive alignment. It's a 60-degree separation between things. So things play into each other in a positive way, in quite a friendly sort of way, really. Retrograde Mercury is sextile Uranus, so it could be progressive. We could be looking at controversy. I think we will be looking at controversy, actually, just because of the general way things are stacked up today. Nothing is kind of exactly complementing anything else, but controversial decisions may very well be reached today, and that kind of thing is going to be making the news. Venus is squared Jupiter, so things get overinflated, overblown. Arguments could really blow up, and with this, there's also a strong possibility of crazy weather. Now, we are having that very much in the UK at the moment, and thanks if you watched my video on the weekend about my house getting flooded out and the old ways and things. My house didn't actually flood, I should say. The walls flooded. Loads of water came in through the walls, but I'm lucky I live on a hillside, so most of the rainwater is just going straight past the house, so I'm pretty lucky there. But there are people all over UK having to use a boat to get out of the house or to go out and do anything at all, so I really am blessed in that sense. Just shows you never know how blessed you are, really. And this is looking like a blessed day in lots of ways, because all that Capricorn strictness is offset by other things. Mars trine Uranus, bold initiatives, breaking with the past, forceful, charismatic people are dominating things. New leaders are likely to come through. Well, we could do with one of those in the UK. In fact, we could do do with several hundred, I think, looking at the way the news was this morning. Saturn void in Capricorn. Formalities are quite at the fore, and that plays into the Capricorn influence as well in quite a strong way, in quite a positive way. I'm going to take a quick look at spaceweather.com. I haven't done that for ages, actually. And it's, it's not really strict astrology, it's astronomy. But everything that happens in astrology is because of the genuine, actual, real movements of the planets out there in the biosphere. And there's no great shakes today. There is actually a G1 class geomagnetic storm going on, and that can kind of just bring a bit of tension to things, really. I'm not going to say look out for it. It sits in with everything else I've said about today's astrology very well. We're nearly at solar minimum. There's no there's no sunspots, nothing like that. There is a bit of solar wind, but it's just a little bit up. It's usually around kind of 400, 440 kilometers a second. Today it's up near 500, but it gets a lot worse than that before we start feeling it. So, solar wind came in from a crack yesterday in the sun's surface. That seems to have healed itself up now, but it takes a while for the geomagnetic influence, whatever it is, and the solar wind to actually make it across the solar system from the sun to the earth. So we're going through that today. If you live in part of the world where you can see auroras in the sky, pretty well, mostly the southern hemisphere actually, and up in the north as well, the far north up in Norway, there should be some interesting and fairly rare blue auroras to be seen. So there we are. That's today's rundown. We're on our way into Aquarius. Things are going to change, and things are going to change for the better very soon. Always think positive, guys, because if you believe in something, or even if you used to believe in something and you sort of lost sight of it, try and bring it back, try and hang on to it, because we do make our own reality. That's what spiritual commentators on things always say. But we actually, we really do. And that sounds very cosmic, but when you think about it, if you're just kind of walking along the street or getting on with your job or whatever, and you're really fed up and you think everything's absolutely crappy, then, you're just not going to draw positive people to you, because they're going to want to give you a miss, basically, and get on with what's positive. If you really kind of believe something good can happen, it's going to lift you up, and it's going to lift up the people around you, so you'll get the help you need, and things will keep going in a positive direction. Okay, that's today's astrology, and a wee bit of philosophy as well, why ever not. I'll be along with another tarot reading. We're doing Leo today. That's coming up at about 5:30, 5:45 UK time. So do join me for that if you're about. Meanwhile, I will be along again tomorrow. So have a fantastic Wednesday, the 19th of February, and I'll see you again very soon. Peace.